And while we're on the topic of election lies, let's talk about Lin Wood for a moment. The Trump-loving lawyer recently got smacked down in an embarrassing way by yet another court over his bogus election fraud claims. Now, Lin Wood, I'm sorry, he's such a comical character if he weren't so, obviously whatever. But anyway, Lin Wood goes out December of last year, files multiple different lawsuits alleging fraud, but the main ones he filed were in the state of Georgia, where he had two separate lawsuits going. One challenging the results of Georgia's presidential election. The other one actually came a little later in January, challenging the Senate election. And in that challenge, which the first one, the election challenge in general, was thrown out, said it was baseless. The other one got thrown out for a second time by the Court of Appeals late last week because they said that, Lin Wood, you have no standing in this case. So here's what Lin Wood was actually challenging here. Wood came out and said that because they changed the rules, the state changed the rules for signature verification, the whole thing is fraudulent and you cannot trust it. They didn't have the same signature verification for the absentee ballots that were obviously very prevalent in that Georgia runoff election. So, the first court that looked at this, way back in early this year, said, yeah, you don't have standing to say any of this. The state legislature, controlled by Republicans, passed a law that gave their Republican Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger, the ability to change the rules for the absentee ballots because it was in the middle of a pandemic. They knew they were going to have a lot of absentee ballots. They were counting on it. That is what their election was basically going to have to be because of the pandemic. He had the authority to do this, the authority given to him by the state. You, therefore, have no standing, Lin Wood. And the Court of Appeals last week basically told him the exact same thing. You have no injury. You have no actual claim of illegal activity, again, because he was given the authority to do this. States, as we all know, have the authority to determine how their own elections are run without the interference of outside forces. So no, Mr. Wood, you don't get to come into these courts and tell us that something illegal happened when all of the changes that you're actually challenging were approved by the state. No injury, no illegal activity, no standing for Mr. Lin Wood. I don't know how many total court losses this brings us to at this point with people like Lin Wood and Giuliani and Sidney Powell, but I can promise you they're going to continue to lose. But of course, that hasn't stopped the Republicans in all these states where the lawsuits are losing from enacting these highly oppressive and repressive voting laws. So that, I guess, is the silver lining for Republicans. You may be losing the court battles, but you've won the war on voter suppression for now. We have to take a quick break. I'm Farron Cousins from Ring of Fire, sitting in for David Pakman. We'll be right back.
One of our sponsors is CuriosityStream, the only subscription streaming service dedicated to documentaries. I can't get enough documentaries if you're the same way. You really should sign up for CuriosityStream, which has a better selection of docs than Netflix, Hulu, or Amazon. I'm always finding documentaries on CuriosityStream I can't find anywhere else. I recently watched David Attenborough's Light on Earth. Just fantastic. But they have something for everybody: politics, economics, history, technology, psychology, everything in between. I can watch at home on my TV in my living room. I can watch on my phone if I'm on the go. I love documentaries, and if you do, don't waste your time on other streaming services. Once you get CuriosityStream, you will regret that you didn't do it sooner. When you go to curiositystream.com/Pacman, you'll save 25% off of a subscription. That will make it just $15 a year. The link is right underneath this video.